SimCity may be all but dead these days, but that's fine. We still have access to the better games through Steam, EA App, and GOG. In fact, my personal favorite of the older SimCity games is easily 3000, due to its music, art style, and overall quality. 2000 was just too DOS for my liking, and not balanced enough as you'll always go bankrupt quickly. In fact, it's the most difficult game to play out of the entire series because of it. Thankfully though, 3000 doesn't have that issue alongside 2013, Societies, and the original game. That issue was solely for 2000 and SimCity 4. So let's jump into SimCity 3000 and talk about why it's a good game, still to even this day, with the likes of City Skylines and many other rip-offs that failed to capture the magic, character, and charm of what made SimCity so special in the first place. To start, you're going to need to select your city style, terrain, foliage, budget, name, mayor, and starting period. Unlike City Skylines, which is a generic ripoff of SimCity with no heart or soul, and charges you money for everything that's in the base game of SimCity 2013 and under via DLC, SimCity 3000 lets you choose everything with no need of modding tools or DLC. So pick your terrain from lush green to desert wasteland. You can pick the tree types from pine, palms, and other generic green trees to cacti or redwood trees. Then choose one of 3 building types. You got American, European, and Asian. This of course is all cosmetic, but it's a nice thing to have. After you set up your game, you're thrusted right into the map editor. Once in the map editor, you can select the type of land you want to work with. Change the land elevation, amount of water and trees, randomly generate stuff based on your position of the sliders, alter the land by changing spots from land to water to make a coastal city, or even an island. You have complete control and can spend hours here just making terrain and then saving it for later to play with a new city in that specific terrain, if you so choose. But once you're done playing God, it's time to build. With an empty plot of land, one must decide where to begin. Of course, for a city to function, you'll need power, water, and roads, with the usual zones of industrial, commercial, and residential. Then there's the unique buildings that offer various services like fire departments, police stations, hospitals, schools, colleges, parks, jails, and more. Depending on the density of the zones you build will determine just who can live there, let alone work there. Higher residential zones allow more people to live within them. Higher commercial zones will be office jobs that need a higher education to be employed. Higher density industrial zones, however, employ more people but in turn create large amounts of pollution and can require higher education for these are more advanced industrial zones. As you play, your budget will decrease based on expenses and you may need to get bailed out via business propositions or loans. Both come with cons such as debt or bad business practices like gambling casinos to increase the crime rate and poverty, or waste plants that spill all kinds of nasty stuff into the drinking water. But hey, you need to not go bankrupt, right? Who cares if a few thousand citizens get sick and die from water pollution? It's all about that money. So go right ahead and simulate your own Flint, Michigan. As your city grows, so does the needs, from roads to public transport. One must be ready to spend a fortune to create highways to connect everything and give a faster means of traversal. Then there's the bus stations and subways, where one does not eat fresh. You'll need to strategically place public transportation in appropriate areas to ensure maximum usage and profit, or else the public transportation systems will come back to bite you in the rear. But just like SimCity 2000, 3000 does have to have water pipes. But this time around you don't need to build pumping stations, thank God. Less clutter, less money wasted, and therefore less expenses. Speaking of less suffering, they also changed the way electricity works. Now if you're within a couple of tiles of a building that already has electricity or power line, or power station in general, you'll have a building with power. So a park and road will no longer hinder the ability to power your city. This also means less power lines are needed, so your city no longer looks ugly with power lines and pumping stations all over the place. Thank God for that. All of these types of statistics and demands can easily be looked at via your own advisor pool, of each one being of a different department. Then there's the graphs and charts to display things a little more clearly, ensuring you'll always know what's going on, and then give you steps to solve the issues, or just leave you in the dark, as not everything will be so easily reported and solvable, such as stupid citizens and their traffic jams. Oh lord, the traffic jams. But I know of a good way to clear traffic. Alien invasion. That's right, unlike City Skylines, SimCity doesn't make you pay to access base game features like disasters, environmentalism, industrialization, snow, and more. So if you have them enabled by default, expect bad things to happen. But if you don't, you have to enable them manually, and you can choose from a list of disasters to occur across your city, such as fires, tornadoes, earthquakes, mostly peaceful protests, and mostly peaceful fires, alien invasion, toxic cloud, meteor, and more, each doling out a certain amount of damage to the city, and depending on which disaster it is, you'll need to manually deal with them, such as sounding the classic siren that sends chills down one's spine, or sending in the police or fire department to tend to whatever's happening, like putting out fires, or unleashing police brutality on those poor peaceful protesters who were just helping a local liquor store clear out its inventory. Ah yes, America. And that's the basics of SimCity 3000, a fleshed out, beautiful looking and sounding game with tons of depth and replay value. The only problems lurk in the technical hiccups such as the camera wonking out if you're placing something near the edge of the screen, or the fact the game can crash to desktop if your city is too huge, especially with faster speed enabled. Yet those problems don't hold the game back from being a good time. In fact, I still recommend SimCity 3000 to this day, and you can easily buy it via GOG, and on sale, it's dirt cheap. So give it a try when you can. SimCity itself is dead, but the classics that make the series shall remain, and I hope future generations can enjoy them as we once did in our time.